Monday. What's going on?
I was a little late getting ready today. I'm glad you made it. You got here about 5 minutes ago.
Wow.
What happened?
Ran in.
Let's hear the story.
Started up the computer. Got a quick touch up on the makeup in the makeup chair. And here we are.
What'd you do for dinner? Did you eat before you came over?
I did.
How was that?
Well, it was great until I opened my mouth.
Well, you need to open your mouth. to
Yeah.
eat.
Well, it was the comment that I made.
Oh. Well, let's first start with, what did you have for dinner before coming over to this late night job?
Like Chipotle bowls. So it's like, you go to Chipotle and you get a chicken bowl or steak bowl and they put all kinds of stuff in it. So we kind of make those at home. And I can never just do anything right at home. I can't say anything right. I can never do anything right. I consistently put my foot in my mouth and say dumb things. You know, I'm trying to get to a point where that I don't want to hear my wife say, that you should just know that these things should be done. Basically, I have to read her mind, right? So I went to help her with the dishes the one day, and I said, hey, she didn't feel well, and, she had a rough day, I get it. And, she made, I said, hey, I got it, I'll take care of it. And she commented, I didn't know it was my job for you to help me with. So I was like, what?
What does that even mean?
It took me like,
You said, hey, let me help you with that.
it took me like 25 seconds to process what she said. In the meantime, as soon as she was done saying it, Jake just started laughing from the living room. And I was like, I don't even know what that means. Do you want the help or not? Like, I'm trying to do things proactively, so I'm not trying to read minds.
You offered to help with the dishwasher.
So I went to help with the dishwasher, but today I said dinner was great. I said the chicken was actually cooked perfectly. Oh boy.
As if to say
boy.
it's not usually cooked perfectly at your house?
Actually.
Damn.
Actually? I'm like, oh, I knew it. As soon as I said it, I was like, oh, gotta go. Show's about to start.
Oh my God. I was wondering why you were getting here so
Oh
late.
my God, I'm so stupid.
Usually you're much more on time. You're like 45 minutes early. Rolled in 5 minutes before we started. I was getting nervous because I know that I'm not going to be the one that's going to carry this show. That's for sure. I just pressed the buttons, and I mean that figuratively and literally. So I was glad you finally made it over here. And because look, we had a teaser out most of the week
Yeah.
in terms of what we were going to talk about today. So I'm looking forward to a good 1 hour, 60 minutes sharp.
Yeah. Well,
Oh, by the way, is your phone set up to take some calls if anybody wants to call?
the phone set up to take some calls. You got
That
the
would be
number,
cool
right?
as well.
Give us the
we got-
number, Kenny.
Number is 845-366-2095. 845-366-2095. I'll put that up on the screen later as well. So I also got to get our agenda up and ready because I know you had a number of rants you were looking forward to do.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on, right? There's a lot going on in politics. There's a lot going on in the world of sports. Gary Sanchez hit a big home run today in the second game of spring training. So I saw some people commenting on that as if that means anything. I guess a step in the right direction is a step in the right direction.
Who's Gary Sanchez?
Gary Sanchez. This is what I'm dealing with, people.
Who's Gary Sanchez?
Catcher for the Yankees.
Oh, the guy who can't catch but took one off his head.
Yeah, the guy who can't hit now and can't catch strikes as a catcher. I'm supposed to get excited that he hit a home run in spring training. The hitters are always ahead of the pitchers in spring training. Pitchers takes a while for them to get really geared up. They're just working on a lot of stuff. And look, I'm not poo-pooing the home run, really. I mean, it's better than grounding out in spring training. So Tiger Woods got into a bad car accident.
Yeah, that was rough. By the way, when you do this podcast with me, are you tracking it on Facebook or YouTube? What do you prefer?
I go back and forth, but I'm usually on Facebook because most of the people that will watch it on YouTube are watching usually the replays when it gets reposted, or people that we know or I know that don't have, they're not a Facebook person.
Got it.
Why?
All right, cool.
Why do you ask?
I'm just trying to see what you're keeping up with.
I'm keeping up with everything, Kenny.
That's cool.
I see everything.
All right. I like it.
I see people commenting, Tiger Woods, he'll come back. He's a workhorse. Look,
It's a broken ankle.
Tiger.
It was a broken ankle with surgery. I didn't hear anything more than it being a broken ankle.
He had a compound
surgery.
fracture of his
Okay.
fibula and tibula or something. They had to put
He had a bimalleolar or trimalleolar fracture with a couple pins and rods, and the media needed to make it into the biggest injury in the world.
Well, hold on a second. He's one of the most famous athletes on the planet,
He broke his ankle, dude.
and he had bones coming out of his leg.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah,
Well,
that's what it was. A compound fracture.
Fine. So the dude broke his ankle.
He's a
Okay.
golfer, though.
I know. He'll be all right.
He's gonna play golf again.
I think he can
No.
play golf again.
Oh my God.
Having nothing to do with his age.
Playing golf in the Masters, or playing golf with his kids at,
At the Pirates Cove.
yeah. I mean, Jesus.
I'm just saying he broke his ankle and had surgery to his ankle.
I mean, sure. I'm surprised that you're on that side of it.
I am too. I just wanted to see if it would get any comment.
I'm shocked.
Because that's a devastating injury that can affect his ability to walk, his
Yeah.
stride, his weight bearing, everything for the rest of his life.
I mean, Alex Smith almost lost his life. They almost had to amputate
Well, he had
his
an
leg.
infection.
Well, yeah.
He had an infection.
Okay, but that was after how many surgeries it got infected. So this is not by any means, hey, you broke your leg, the bone came out of the skin, we'll put a couple plates and screws in, and away you go, rods and stuff. I mean, there's going to be before he even thinks about playing any sport, which nobody should really be thinking about or even talking about, he could get an infection, he could lose his leg. There's a lot that can happen. For people to say, oh, he'll battle back and come back. If I know, here's what's funny when people say, if I know Tiger, he'll come. You don't know Tiger. You can never ever relate to that ever. So stop. I love it. If I know Tiger, no, you don't.
No, I don't. That's a bad injury.
Terrible injury.
But at the end of the day, so far I haven't heard anything bad in the media from the doctors that give the statements that he's had any complications with the surgery.
Yeah.
And
I don't know either.
It's been now several days, and no media indicating that there's an infection, and so he'll go through that rehabilitation process. Likely a boot, and no weight bearing, and then from the boot to physical therapy, and a cane. Who knows? But ultimately, look, in a matter of 6 months or less, 6 months or less, he should be trying to play golf, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, and he's not. I mean, to think a guy's going to come back and play professional golf after that would be a miracle, especially at his age with the knee injuries and the spinal fusions and the back surgeries and all that kind of stuff that he had to battle back from. And then you add this to it. I mean, look, he's got nothing to prove to anybody. The only thing he has to prove, if anything, he would want to prove it to himself. And that's a long, long road ahead. You know what I mean?
I see a comment indicating that there's a reference to compartment syndrome. That is a complication. So if he is suffering from compartment syndrome, then it's not just a simple or traditional fracture with surgery. So that would be interesting to know.
Yeah.
If he's suffering from that. Dr. Longo, thanks for the comment.
Well, I mean, there's a lot going on. I know we're going to talk about local sports, and the board vote coming up for the Kingston City School District about playing fall and winter sports. I know there's a couple. We had this discussion the other day. You got Cuomo back in the news again with another harassment claim, and I just need to get this off my chest real quick. Do you mind?
Sure.
All right. So, what is really starting to aggravate me?
Just starting.
Yeah.
I love that.
What's really starting to aggravate me is the political divisiveness between people who claim that they hate Trump because of the division, yet are the most divisive people that I see or know. And there's a lot of you out there that will only, like, take this for example. Cuomo has a second sexual harassment claim. Okay. And people, their first default or their defense is, well, Trump did this and that. And I'm here to tell you that right now, this might not sit too well with a lot of you, that if you are taking sides when a sexual harassment or assault claim comes out, based solely on political party affiliation, you're just a little bit below the person who actually committed the crime if it's true.
Let's just chew on that for a moment. You're saying the person who has an ideology, a thought, an opinion about
With no facts? With no
about
facts or
someone
anything.
who's guilty of a felony, you think they're just one step below
If you're
use
defending
politics.
if you're defending it with no facts based on political affiliation, I'm going to go there.
So
Because we were told, and rightfully so, that the victims need to be heard. But is it what victims need to be heard? Is it only Democrat victims that need to be heard or Republican victims that need to be heard? Right? Like, I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to give you a back and forth real quick. That was a post on Facebook. I'm not going to give the names.
can I post it?
No, because I don't want any names.
public.
there. Well, then people will find it. It was just an article. Somebody posted an article about Cuomo, and I'll get through this real quick, but it's something that is really chapping my ass, so I'm going to talk about it. So he posted it, and the first thing is, so this person says, so that's 2 versus over 25 of your loser past president. Why not start with those? So I comment, the fact that you won't support a woman's claim of sexual harassment based on political party affiliation is despicable. Also has nothing to do with Trump, so why mention him? If that's your constant default, then, maybe you have a problem. That's a terrible and childish defense and excuse. This is completely absurd, the fact that you're defaulting to Trump over blah, blah, blah. So he goes on to then say,
Meanwhile, folks, the phone number is 845-366-2095.
Call in if that's your defense, 'cause we'll talk about it.
Nick, because the topic at this moment is the Cuomo
so that's what I said.
abuse.
And he said, so the 25 aren't important and your person does, back to your trailer park. I'm like, okay. So I didn't say they weren't, but he's not the topic of the post. Your default is constantly Trump. I'm not supporting and defending, just stay on topic. Also, expand on using trailer park as a derogatory term. What's wrong with people that own and live in trailers? Just because that doesn't seem tolerant or follow the ways of the Democrats. I wouldn't disparage someone because of where they live or your perceived socioeconomic status. That's not right. And then he said, I never mentioned Trump. You did. So I was like, well, blah, blah, blah. I said, don't hide behind that. Don't play that game. I'm waiting for your view, though, on Cuomo and explaining your trailer park comment and the degradation of people that live in trailers. Would you tell someone, go back to your ghetto? You wouldn't, because it's idiotic and you'd get your teeth knocked down your throat. You have an us versus them mentality, and you constantly show your true colors with your comments on here towards others. Now, there's been no comment after that. My issue here is that A, why would you say go back to your trailer park? Like, that's extremely derogatory, and it doesn't seem really, it seems a little divisive. But I would ask people this, if you're going to keep score, right? We're keeping score of sexual assaults and sexual harassment claims because of politics now. So if my daughter or my wife or his or your wife or your daughter said that they were sexually harassed or sexually assaulted, would you come to me and your first thing would be, oh, well, Trump did it 25 times? Like, would you defend the other person that did it? Like, what if I am a Republican, or what if my daughter or my wife was a Republican and she was sexually assaulted? And I told you that, and you said, well, Trump did it 25 times. Why don't you start there? Would you ever say that? If you would, call right now. What's the number?
845-366-2095. 845-366-2095. Now, Nicholas, this week, after a lot of media reporting related to Governor Cuomo's alleged sexual harassment claims, he made a statement on Sunday. He indicated, look, folks, at work, sometimes I think I am being playful and make jokes that I think are funny, he said, adding, I mean no offense and only attempt to add some levity and banter to what is a very serious business. So he's explaining, Nick, to his constituents, to the public, that he doesn't mean anything by it or didn't understand or comprehend that maybe the things that he says, which he believes are funny, and for which he means no offense, are insulting. So can't you just give him a break? Isn't this just locker room talk, like our president had suggested?
It's not about what I am willing or not willing to forgive. It's that a Democrat is accused of something, and all these morally high ground people who preached to us about all these types of things before, it's crickets on my social media feed. Nobody has a comment on it. And if it was Ron DeSantis from Florida, I would bet my left arm that it would be littered. My Facebook would be littered with comments. It's because it's fake outrage. It's fake. You don't care about the victim. I shouldn't say not everybody. A lot of you don't care about the victim. It's obvious. You only care depending on what political party they're affiliated with. And I'm sorry, that's despicable. That's my opinion. I would welcome anybody to try to change my mind. Now, he should be taken to task because he's the leader of the state that makes you take mandatory harassment classes every year. You mean to tell me this guy doesn't know what he's saying? Could be inappropriate? And by the way, I do recall a certain president when he had an issue like this, which again, I don't condone. I don't condone it. But he said it was locker room talk and you all went crazy. Now Cuomo puts out this statement and there's crickets from the same people. Your default is just, well, Trump did this and Trump did that and Trump did this.
I don't know that people have that type of voice or mannerisms physically when they.
That's like my impression of somebody just yelling like you. Oh, it's unbelievable.
That's funny.
I'm sorry. Got off. Live. Why'd say live video interrupted the broadcast?
Oh no.
What happened?
That's crazy.
Did we get canceled?
Are we on?
Did Cuomo cancel us?
We just got a text that we were off.
Oh.
And that there's no sound again. And now there should be sound. That's funny. I think we should have sound, and it would be wonderful to know what was the last thing people heard. Because you missed a great story from Nick. So maybe we can get some sports.
I don't know. People have lost their minds.
They got to miss all of your mannerisms. You know?
I'm just tired of it, people. Like, you act like children constantly.
What happened at the diner this morning, Nicholas?
Hold on.
Let's
just
okay.
Constantly. Let me real quick. When the whole Kavanaugh thing was happening, right, and before the hearing, people were posting, "I'm with her," and then the Republicans were like, "You're crazy. She's a liar." I simply posted, "How can anybody be with anybody until we hear facts?" Oh, I got destroyed. Destroyed. So I don't get it. I don't get it. And then people were saying when he had the journal, right? He kept a journal. People saying, "Oh, only rapists keep journals like that so they have an alibi."
Look, some folks believe that they're only going to come out and speak if it meets with their political agenda.
Yeah, but again,
only if it's to their own benefit. I totally understand what
my
you're
kid
saying.
keeps a journal all summer since he was 11 for baseball.
We haven't heard from a lot of people who were very vocal when the issue was on the other side of the political aisle, and it's always going to be that way. So it doesn't matter
it's still
who;
out.
it's just simply going to be that way. Facebook is freezing, but our YouTube is good. That's a bummer. What's wrong with Facebook, folks?
Oh, Facebook sucks. Zuckerberg.
You know, we're telling people to watch us on Facebook and YouTube, and yet we're getting frozen. Well, that's okay, because we were just talking politics, and now we can start talking sports. Okay?
Yeah. Watch the replay.
Yeah, watch the replay. It'll be good. And I'm excited today in local sports. Actually, you know what? Let's talk about one other thing. Oh, the live video has been interrupted on Facebook. The broadcast has been paused. It should resume shortly. That's messed up. I think because it could be the cancel culture.
Is it because
Can you
I
imagine
bashed
if
Cuomo?
it's cancel culture?
Was it interrupted because I said Cuomo's a? Oh my God, I hope not.
I mean, we have good internet. Not really sure why it's freezing, but if it does go back on, we'll be able to at least know that our YouTube was
Look, I'm
working.
watching other live videos on Facebook. No problems.
Yeah, it's weird. Tell Howard Stern to get this fixed, says a buddy of mine. Crazy. You know, switch to YouTube.
Robin. Unbelievable.
I can't work under these conditions. We're gonna have to talk to our technical director and see what happens. You know, live feed sucks.
Yep.
Man, we're waiting with bated breath for it to come back on. Let's see. Not gonna say much until we know it's working. Not sure. Gosh darn it. Oh, man. The live video has ended. All right. So we're going to go right back out and start over again. Okay, Nick?
Yeah.
Look good with you?
That's unbelievable to me.
It's very strange. Here we go. Go back on again. Don't understand why that happened, but we'll see what's up. Or yeah, it says it just ended.
Andrea Campbell said your live feed sucks as much as you do, Krantz.